Hey everybody, it's Matt. We are back, not for a Besremi dose today, but just the update on the blood work. It is September 23rd, 2025. I left the hospital band on just to make it official. Had my blood work today and saw my specialist, which I hadn't seen her in quite a while. It had been 3 months, but I hadn't seen her in almost a year. And I have all the blood work results here and a couple of, I have my computer here. I'm gonna nerd out a little bit, so please bear with me, but I'm kind of excited. I got a lot of thoughts in my head. I didn't write anything down, so bear with me. I'll try to make it fast though. But so all my numbers have been really low. Besremi was doing its job. They were never super high to begin with anyway. And just a fast reminder, if you know, I got into Besremi because of this big thrombotic event in my stomach. I've always had DVTs in my left leg for years, that kind of stuff. So I've had a lot of thrombotic events, even though my allele burden starting out was much lower than probably many of you. I think it was around 10%. But allele burden doesn't necessarily correlate with those thrombotic events. High allele burden, I'm told, may coordinate with heavy symptom burden, maybe itching and the pruritus and those kinds of things. My biggest thing is lightheadedness for a long time. But anyway, to get to the accounts, my white blood cell count was below average. It bounced up to 3.0. It's still a little low, but it's going in the right direction. Hemoglobin 14.2, and I apologize if I pronounce some of these wrong. The hematocrit is 40.9, which I know that's usually a marker. If it's really high, people have concern with that. My platelet count is now 160. It was really low, which could be concerning too. You don't want to have low platelets, but so that went back up. My red blood cells went up to 4.8. The one thing, and I'll talk about this a little bit, is my RDW. That is always really high. I mentioned it in a video. That's the red cell distribution width. There'll be more about that on my computer here in a second. But so that was low last month for the first time in all my blood work. It's always high. And then it was really low last month. It's back high again. And I think there's something to that. So yeah, and then back to that, my comprehensive metabolic panel, which kind of checks your liver and all those things, that was all over the place, especially a year ago today. I passed out during phlebotomy and they thought I had a stroke and all these things. What a difference though. Everything is in the normal range, really amped up. All my blood work was good today. The metabolic panel, the liver things, all that was in range and good, all except for the RDW. So that leads me to these next couple of things. One other last thing. In my last video, I talked about I've been tracking my nutrition with an app, and I had a few people ask me what app I'm using. I'm using the Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's called the Pump app. If you have an iPhone or device, I'm sure it's on all the devices, but it's called the Pump app. And I've only started using it a few weeks ago to track my nutrition, my water intake, and I like it a lot. I'll start using the workout soon enough. But anyway, if you're looking for an app, I think it's a great one. And there's so many other little tools within the app that you can use to help your fitness, track your goals, because we got this blood disease going on and we got to take care of everything we can take care of aside from that till we get the cure. So keep following nutrition, keep moving, keep exercising, keep drinking lots of water, and don't put any poison into your body if you can help it. All right, so that hopefully I touched base mostly on this stuff. What the most exciting thing though was I asked a nurse practitioner before my doctor came in. She kind of does all the pre-questions. I said I would love to reduce my dose. And I'm like, 50 micrograms would be great. I've been doing 100 micrograms, as many of you know, for quite a while now, every 2 weeks. And I just keep hoping, reduce, spread it out, whatever. So my doctor came in, said, "Oh, I hear you want to reduce." I'm like, "Well, it's up to you. You're the pro, kind of thing." And she says, "I think 50 is too low." but let's stick with 100. I think it seems to be working. I was slightly disappointed. And then she said 100 once a month. So I could have done the cartwheels, but I can't really do a cartwheel. But so yeah, I'm going from 100 micrograms every 2 weeks, 100 micrograms once a month, which basically cuts my treatment in half, 24 times a year. Now I'm going to just 12 times a year, at least for the next 3 months. I have my next appointment in December, but we'll take a look at that, so just, it's basically cutting it in half. So lots of reason to be hopeful today, hopefully for you guys too. Again, some of you may be starting at an allele burden that's really high. There's so many different factors that probably varies us from our starting point, our age, our health, all those things. But please keep hope. It seems like this is working. So this is kind of why I brought my computer out. After my appointment, I was talking with Copilot, my Microsoft best buddy. And I'm just going to kind of read this to you, but I was really excited about it. And last, something I'll say about the way Copilot interacts with me, being an author, I've talked to Copilot about some story ideas I have, and now he's kind of always throwing in this little humor. So there's some references to Dr. Pastore. That's not my doctor. That's a make-believe doctor, but hopefully it makes sense. But so I typed in my appointment and the results today with Copilot. Fantastic news on the Besremi adjustment, Matt. Monthly dosing is a big win for both quality of life and long-term tolerability. And your oncologist's green light on NAC, that's a supplement I asked about, that opens up a fascinating door, especially given your RDW, that's the red blood cell theory. With my RDW being high, I put this in and asked Copilot, and he said, so my oncologist gave me the green light on this NAC supplement. I can't even pronounce NAC. It's like N-acetylcysteine. I'm sure that's a big botch job, but if you look up NAC, it will give you this. So I have this theory. I typed it in, and here it is. Copilot says, let's unpack this with scientific rigor and a touch of Pastore-style drama. That's the mad scientist in my book series. NAC versus rogue RDW. Can it help? NAC is a powerful antioxidant precursor to glutathione, which helps neutralize reactive oxygen species, ROS, in PV and other MPNs. Chronic inflammation and oxidative stress are thought to drive clonal instability and abnormal blood cell morphology, including elevated RDW, which is always, that's my main thing, I think, is really creating all these clumpy cells, and that's why I'm getting these blood clots. Again, my theory, talk with your own doctors, please. Here's what the latest research says. In JAK2 V617F mouse models, NAC extended lifespan and reduced thrombotic events without altering blood counts of spleen size. NAC appears to modulate platelet neutrophil interactions, which are key players in clot formation. And by reducing ROS, NAC may help stabilize red cell morphology, potentially lowering RDW indirectly. So while NAC isn't a direct RDW lowering agent, it may calm the inflammatory storm that fuels RDW variability, like installing better firewalls in Pastore's rogue lab. That's some of the humor of Copilot. But yeah, just like fitness and our hydration and nutrition, it's not the cure, but we are creating a better environment for our body to fight this disease. It gave me a few food-based alternatives that are cysteine-rich allies. Since NAC is a synthetic derivative of the amino acid cysteine, you can also support your system through diet. Here's the top cysteine foods. Lean chicken and turkey, low-fat yogurt, lentils, tuna and pork, eggs, sunflower seeds, skirt steak, Swiss cheese, oatmeal, and garlic is a bonus antioxidant. I eat a lot of that stuff already. I'm going to just keep it in mind. But I did get approval from my oncologist to do an NAC supplement. She didn't think it would have any counter interactions with the Xarelto or the Besremi. So yeah, and then lastly, I know that was a ton of information. Hopefully it makes sense. You can watch the video over and over again. Just kidding. These foods won't deliver NAC's pharmacological punch, but they do support glutathione production and may help regulate oxidative stress and red cell integrity. And everything I've heard about bone marrow stress and these bone marrow, these rogue cells overproducing, and then you get the burnout, the scarring. So we want to prevent that oxidative stress and keep the red cell integrity. So I'm hoping the NAC will be helpful. I don't know if I don't think it's gonna be the cure, but I'm going to start taking it, and then I'll report back to you guys after a month if I'm feeling, because I get a lot of joint pain in my elbows, my neck, my knees, my lower back, and some of that's age, wear and tear, but I think some of it is inflammation from the Polycythemia vera. And then just a couple last things. The mutation, okay, you nailed it. JAK2 V617F is the architect of chaos, but there's hope. A 2024 study used a genetic switch system to turn off JAK2 V617F in mice, leading to complete disease remission, normal blood counts, reduced fibrosis, and prolonged survival. There's also this thing called CRISPR, CRISPR based models are being explored to target the mutation directly through human trials, but they're still in development. I also talked to my doctor about that. She said there are some cool things coming, too soon to talk about, but it looks good. And then pegylated interferon like Besremi remains one of the few agents that can reduce allele burden over time, especially with tailored dosing strategies. So we're not at the cure yet. We're inching closer to mutation silencing, and you are already ahead of the curve with Besremi and NAC in play. That's Copilot's take on it. But anyway, I hope this was helpful. Ton of nerdy information. As you can tell, I'm a little excited. I'm praying for you, keeping the hope. Please keep the hope. We got a lot of good stuff happening. All right. God bless. Bye.